Ubuntu 26.04 LTS and Fedora 44 have both released at the exact same time, and this is the biggest, hottest Linux showdown of the year. These are two of the most popular Linux distros on the planet, absolute legends of the desktop Linux world, and this year both arrived loaded. GNOME 50, NTSYNC gaming tech, brand new default apps, and package managers that have been completely rebuilt from the ground up. I've been playing with both since they dropped, and I'll be honest, I did not expect the results I got. So in this video, we are breaking down the head-to-head performance, software availability, gaming stability, and the daily driver question. And at the end, I'll tell you exactly which one I personally chose. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Alright, let's kick things off with the user interface. Ubuntu 26.04 LTS and Fedora 44 both ship with the same GNOME 50 desktop environment. Now the desktop may be the same on both these distributions, but the final experience you get from them couldn't be more different. Ubuntu's GNOME comes with a few polishing touches that, in my opinion, make it more useful and just more premium out of the box. The biggest one being Ubuntu's iconic dock on the left side of the screen. This is an always-on application panel, and it makes launching apps and switching between them just a breeze. I absolutely love this dock. Ubuntu also brings its own Yaru theme that gives the entire desktop that signature maroonish orange premium feel. These additions on top of the stock GNOME create a unique identity for Ubuntu, but more importantly, they give it a serious boost in user friendliness. Fedora, on the other hand, gives you GNOME in its purest form, and honestly, stock GNOME looks clean and gorgeous. I always had a thing for minimalist UI designs, but here's the catch. Fedora's GNOME is very bare metal. There's no on-screen dock, no desktop icons. It's a super button-based workflow. Press it to call up the dock, press it to switch apps, press it to use workspaces. Same desktop, completely different interactions. And I have to be honest, I prefer Ubuntu's GNOME. Multitasking on it is just a breeze. I launch my most used apps with a single click, I switch between them with a single click, and I just scroll on the dock to quickly jump between workspaces. It's so direct, so efficient. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Just install dash to dock on Fedora, bro. Yeah, you absolutely can. It's a one-click install. But defaults matter, and especially for Linux newcomers, the first 10 minutes with the distro decide everything. Quick word on GNOME 50 itself. It brings some genuinely cool improvements on both these distros. Variable refresh rate now works beautifully on supported monitors, which means stare-free gaming and silky smooth animations as your display syncs its refresh rate to whatever your GPU is pushing out. Fractional scaling has finally matured, so you can run your display at 125% or 150% and everything stays sharp. No more choosing between microscopic text and giant icons. And both Ubuntu and Fedora are now fully valent for the default GNOME session. That means the old switch to GNOME on Xorg escape hatch from the login screen, yeah, that's gone. Xvalent still handles your XLN apps, but the GNOME session itself has moved on to something better. See, the user interface is a highly subjective matter. I might like orange, you might like blue, I might like one thing, you might like the other. So let's give both of these distros a point each and move on to the next session, and that is going to be really interesting. Alright, let's talk performance, and this is where things get really interesting. According to benchmarks, Ubuntu 26.04 LTS and Fedora 44 are extremely close on paper, but the way they feel in daily use, that's a different story. Idle resource usage is nearly identical. Both sit around 1 to 1.3 GB of RAM. Fedora might look slightly heavier here, but that's actually Fedora's ZRAM swap doing its thing. Keeping data compressed in ZRAM for faster access. It's a feature, not load. Now Phoronix has run their full benchmark suite on both these distros, and the results are predictably close. Each one trades wins by tiny margins. 8% faster here, 5% slower there. These are not numbers you actually feel. Fedora does have a small edge in compiled workloads thanks to GCC 16, but for daily use, it's basically a tie. Under the hood, Ubuntu 26.04 LTS ships with Linux kernel 7.0. Fedora 44.2 is pushing the same as an update. Both bring the all-important NTSYNC driver, but we'll get to why that matters in the gaming section. But here's where things get spicy. App startup. And this is where Ubuntu takes a real hit. Snap's cold start times are still noticeably slower than RPM equivalent in Fedora. Firefox, Thunderbird, VS Code, they all open faster on Fedora out of the box. On an SSD, the gap shrinks. On a traditional hard disk drive, it's actually painful. And this is a recurring criticism of Ubuntu that just won't go away. Sure, you can install packages at .deb packages on Ubuntu, but that's not the default. On file systems, Ubuntu sticks with the tried and tested ext4. Fast, stable, no surprises. Fedora defaults to BTRFS, which gives you copy on write, compression, and system snapshots, which are seriously useful for tinkerers. Two different priorities, both valid. So all in all, in benchmarks, this is a dead tie. In daily feel, Fedora is just a touch lighter and snappier because of its native RPM packages, whereas Ubuntu strongly prioritizes heavier snaps. But Ubuntu is no slouch either. Both the distros get a point each here, but I want to understand the difference here. And then we move on to what, in my opinion, is the biggest battleground between these two. Next up, software ecosystem. This is the biggest battleground, biggest contest between these two distros. Ubuntu's strength is its massive software library. You get the huge app repositories combined with Canonical's Snap Store. And let's be honest here, when companies developing software say Linux, they usually mean Ubuntu first. Google, Microsoft, Spotify, Nextcloud, all the major vendors officially ship their software for Ubuntu, mostly as snaps. That is completely undeniable. Snaps have genuinely transformed software availability on Linux. This is huge. But snaps come with real trade-offs. They take up significantly more storage space and they're noticeably slower to start up, even on moderately old machines. That being said, the apt command itself has gotten a beautiful refresh in version 3. Colored output, a smarter dependency resolver, faster operations, so the traditional way of installing software on Ubuntu is sharper than ever. Fedora takes a different route. You get RPM packages through DNF5, which is a full rewrite that finally kills Fedora's old reputation of being slow at package management. Updates and installs are genuinely fast now, and Fedora pairs RPM with Flatpak through FlatHub, seamlessly integrated into the GNOME software store. Almost every major Linux app has a Flatpak now, and honestly, I think Flatpak has a real advantage over Snap because of its open nature and stronger community involvement. Now I want to be very clear here. I genuinely appreciate what Snaps and Flatpaks have done for the desktop Linux ecosystem, unified package managers as they are called. Linux already has a smaller market share, and these unified package formats give developers a real reason, a feasible way to push their software to us. That's a win for all of us. That being said, whenever possible, I personally stick to native .deb or .rpm packages. They're just faster, simpler, and nimbler to use. Quick mention, Ubuntu's Flutter-based App Center is a clean modern store. Fedora's GNOME software does the job too. Both are perfectly fine. So who wins this section? Ubuntu has a vendor edge. Fedora has the cleaner philosophy. As a software developer, it's always a better experience for me on Ubuntu to get the packages I need. Ubuntu just has larger software repositories, and that's an absolutely undeniable advantage. As controversial as the whole Snap thing is, Ubuntu still takes the software availability point home. Before we move on to the next section, let me quickly talk about something that takes this entire software conversation to the next level. See, as a desktop Linux user, you are limited by one machine, one distro at a time, one set of apps, and the risk of breaking everything whenever you want to experiment. But what if you could break free from all of that? Run any distro you want, host any service you want, automate anything you can think of, all without ever touching your main PC. That is exactly what a VPS unlocks. And the one I personally use and recommend is Hostinger, who are also kindly sponsoring this video. Think of Hostinger as your second Linux machine, always on, sitting in the cloud, accessible from anywhere on the planet. Want to try Fedora, Arch, Debian, OpenSUSE all in a day without dual booting? Spin them up on Hostinger. Want to replace Google Drive with self-hosted Nextcloud, run N8N automations, host Vaultwarden or your own Git server? Done, all on one machine, 24/7. They also have a really cool OpenClaw setup, which I think is the simplest way to use OpenClaw. And Hostinger gives you ready-made templates for N8N, Nextcloud, OpenWebUI, and tons of popular Linux distros. I love the Ubuntu remote desktop option. Head over to hostinger.com/linuxtex and use the code linuxtex for a sweet discount. Seriously, check it out. Alright, back to it. Okay, next, I want to talk about something extremely important that does not get talked about enough. Stability and release model. Ubuntu 26.04 LTS is an LTS or a long-term support release, and it gives you 5 full years of support, which can be extended up to 10 or even 15 I think now. But 5 years standard. Conservative updates, rock solid system, install it and forget it. This is the right call for family machines, work laptops, or anyone who just doesn't want to think about their operating system. Fedora 44 on the other hand has roughly a 13-month support cycle with a new release every 9 months. You always get the freshest tech, but you have to upgrade more often. Not bleeding edge like Arch, not stagnant like Debian, the sweet middle ground. And let me be very clear here. Fedora 44 is genuinely stable for daily use, but in this department, Ubuntu is something else entirely. It's this 5-year support that makes Ubuntu the king of Linux distros. Install it and forget it. With Ubuntu, the exact system you download and install is used by million-dollar enterprise servers, so Ubuntu is built with very high standards. There is thorough testing, security and stability is prioritized, and it runs, gets updates for a long time, all while being dependable. Fedora provides a unique mixture of stability and cutting-edge tech. It's not a rolling release experimental distro. At the same time, it is going to provide a workable computing platform for you. You have to pick one between Ubuntu and Fedora based on your risk tolerance here. So the point in this section clearly goes to Ubuntu. A 5-year LTS support window is just hard to argue with. Clear win here. Alright, let's get to the most exciting section of this entire video. Gaming on Linux. And 2026 has been a special year for Linux gaming. Steam, Proton, Lutris, Heroic, the whole ecosystem just keeps getting better. But the biggest story of this year, NTSYNC. So what is NTSYNC? It's a kernel level driver that implements Windows style synchronization primitives, mutexes, semaphores, events directly in the Linux kernel through a device called Dev NTSYNC. Technical stuff, I'll not bore you with it. In a nutshell, previously, Wine had to fake all of this in user space, and that created real bottlenecks in modern multi-threaded games. Now you've probably seen the wild headlines floating out. Linux gaming gets 678% faster. Dirt 3 jumping from 110 FPS to over 860 FPS. Yeah, those numbers are real. But I think the Proton that gets bundled with Steam has already had similar features enabled for years now. So you might see just some modest improvements. My preferred way of gaming on Linux, and easily the simplest way to get started, is install Steam, download games and get gaming. Yeah, that's it. Thousands of games, even most Windows exclusive titles like GTA 5, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Cyberpunk 2077, they just work on Linux this way. Okay, let's talk about GPU drivers. AMD and Intel graphics drivers are pre-installed. So with those GPUs on both Ubuntu and Fedora, you're ready to game as soon as the system is installed. Okay, what about NVIDIA drivers? Ubuntu just nails this. Drivers install automatically during installation. You reboot and you're gaming. On Fedora, you have to enable RPM Fusion first. It's a one-time terminal command, works perfectly after that, but the friction is real for new users. One honest caveat: anti-cheat. Single-player gaming on Linux in 2026 is fantastic, but competitive shooters with kernel-level anti-cheat, Valorant, Fortnite Battle Royale, they still don't work. NTSYNC doesn't change that. So who wins this section? Performance is essentially a tie. Both kernels have NTSYNC, both run with Steam and Proton beautifully, but Ubuntu's painless NVIDIA setup gives it a real edge for new gamers. So the gaming point goes to Ubuntu here. Now let's talk about the installation and setup experience. The first 20 minutes you spend with the distro decide a lot, and in 2026, both these distros have genuinely smooth installation experiences. Ubuntu uses its Flutter-based installer. Clean, simple, step-by-step, hard to mess up. Ubuntu has always been known for its seamless, beginner-friendly installation process, and that legacy continues. The installer guides you through everything: partitioning, driver installation, and all the things in a very clear way. Fedora has fully transitioned to the new Anaconda WebUI installer. The old clunky Anaconda is gone. The new interface looks and feels genuinely modern. Fedora finally has an installer that doesn't feel like 2014, and this is easily the fastest or quickest installation experience I've ever experienced. You install Fedora in like 4 steps. Both detect Windows reliably for dual boot. Ubuntu defaults to ext4, Fedora goes with BTRFS and subvolumes for snapshots. Both were great. Now here's the one real difference. Ubuntu has 2 checkboxes during installation. Install third-party drivers for graphics and install media codecs. Tick them and you get NVIDIA drivers, media codecs, the works. On Fedora, you have to enable RPM Fusion, which again is just one terminal command or 2. If you have NVIDIA hardware, that Ubuntu checkbox is a massive convenience win for newcomers. Otherwise, both are genuinely excellent. So in this section, both get a point each. Ubuntu pulls ahead if you are rocking NVIDIA, but Fedora's new Anaconda WebUI is so good, it deserves a point on installation experience alone. Alright, let's talk rough edges. Every distro has them, so let me be very honest with you here. Ubuntu's biggest weakness is still Snap. Slow cold start times are real. The Snap Store backend is closed source, which the open source community genuinely hates. And Canonical has a habit of pushing apps from .deb to Snap versions, whether you wanted it or not. Firefox, Thunderbird, they all went Snap. It works, but it leaves a sour taste for old schoolers like me. The other Ubuntu annoyance is the 2 app repository situation. Now we use App Center for almost all the software, but it's mainly a Snap Store. It handles .deb packages, but it's not seamless. New users sometimes get confused about where an app actually came from. Now on Fedora, the big one is RPM Fusion. Out of the box, I think you can't play some audios, watch some video formats, or use NVIDIA drivers. You have to enable RPM Fusion for that first. It's a one-time setup, but it is a friction. Fedora also asks you to upgrade your OS every 9 to 13 months. Most upgrades go smoothly, but it's an ongoing demand. And when a software vendor says Linux, they almost always mean Ubuntu first. Fedora users sometimes have to wait or improvise. None of this is a deal breaker. Desktop Linux in 2026 has come a long way. We are in good times. I just thought that I need to address these here. Okay, we have gone through every major area and seen how Ubuntu 26.04 LTS and Fedora 44 stack up against each other. Now it's time for me to give you my personal pick. See, when you're comparing an interim release of Ubuntu on non-LTS against a Fedora version, Fedora becomes the easier choice because that is Fedora's element. Around 1 year of support with cutting-edge tech while still guaranteeing day-to-day dependability. Fedora just wins. But Ubuntu 26.04 LTS is a LTS release, a long-term support release. When you compare an LTS Ubuntu to Fedora, the tables turn quickly. I'm at a stage now where for my everyday work, I just don't want to think about my operating system anymore. I want to install it, set it up the way I like it, and then just use my computer. Any and all the software I want, just a click away in the App Center. 5 years of conservative updates, security patches, and rock solid behavior. That's exactly what I need, and honestly, I've already switched. I've been daily driving Ubuntu 26.04 LTS for a while now, and it has just been a beautiful experience. Fedora 44 is still phenomenal. Cleaner stock GNOME, faster package management with DNF5, slightly snappier feel, newer kernel. It is a fantastic distro. If your priority is the freshest tech and you don't mind upgrading your OS every year, Fedora is still absolutely the right pick. But for me right now, stability wins. So my personal point this year goes to Ubuntu 26.04 LTS. And by the total tally of points, final score being Ubuntu 7, Fedora 3. Ubuntu 26.04 LTS wins this Battle of the Giants. Alright, there you have it. The download links for both Ubuntu 26.04 LTS and Fedora 44 are given in the description below. And don't forget to check out Hostinger using the link in the description below. Hostinger is genuinely one of the best VPS services out there to learn and deploy Linux. Spin up a cloud server in seconds, experiment freely with any distro, and learn without the fear of breaking your actual hardware. Seriously, check them out. Use the code LinuxTechs for a sweet discount. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, definitely consider subscribing to the channel and also give me a big thumbs up. Next up, check out the 20 things you must do after installing Ubuntu 26.04 LTS to turbocharge it. I got some really cool tweaks there. We are going to boost your internet speed, make your app launches faster, and also connect your smartphone to your Ubuntu and let you use your PC wirelessly from your phone. There's so much more there. Definitely check it out. Alright, this is LinuxTechs signing out.